Meet me in the foyer.
We are no longer the knights who say eki, 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 batang, zoom, boing, zingrum. We are the knights who say cine. Yes, welcome to our round table as we discuss what's new and available to see at the cinema this week. In our new film show, so meeting me in the foyer this week is the King Arthur to my Patsy, or should that be the Lady of the Lake? But she's not a witch, so we shan't burn her, as she's definitely not made of wood. It's Linda Marric. How are you, Linda?
Howdy, I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
Yes, it's
Long
been a
time no
while,
speak.
hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But we,
Yeah. Yeah, all good, 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 good. All very exciting stuff, you know. We're
yeah.
in the summer blockbuster era now, so let's
Yes.
get some interesting things going.
I can see a little Mr. Cruz sprinting towards us,
Yeah,
approaching not too far away, but he can wait for another week.
yeah.
So, yeah, welcome to this new film show we're calling Meet Me in the Foyer, or MMITF for short, but not more pronounceable. Each week, Linda and myself, your host Jawa, will meet in the foyer of our favourite cinemas to check out the billboard and give you our thoughts on the latest cinematic offerings. And we'll probably discuss coming releases, news, maybe the top 10, whatever takes our fancy, really. So, with that in mind, what's caught your eye this week, Linda?
Well, this week I'm going to be reviewing. I usually just do the one movie, but so this week I am reviewing three movies, and the first one will be a very weird and, in my opinion, rather pointless adaptation of a much loved and critically acclaimed movie from 1993, The Wedding Banquet, the Ang Lee movie, which was really a seminal queer sort of Chinese American movie that did extremely well, and that went on to win tons and tons of awards and made Ang Lee into the huge star that he is now. So this is a remake starring some quite big names, actually. Bowen Yang, who's known by everyone for his roles on Saturday Night Live, Lily Gladstone, who doesn't love Lily Gladstone, and you've got Kelly Marie Tran, who's a former Star Wars star, and then a bunch of other names that I'd say that I'm not super familiar with, but you know, I'm sure they are all very well known in sort of the Asian cinema realm.
Angela! Lee! Hold on. I'm putting you on speaker. It's Min.
Hello?
Good morning, Angela. What's going on?
Hey, Chris.
You look like a ghost. A hot, gay ghost.
My grandmother doesn't know I'm gay. Will you marry me?
Me?
What?
My daughter. Marrying a man.
It's for the cause. We're helping a gay couple stay together.
I'm on my way to the airport because Min's grandmother flew in from Korea to meet her future granddaughter-in-law.
What are we supposed to do exactly?
We gotta de-queer the house. God, you have so much lesbian literature. Honey, I'm home.
Have you picked the wedding date?
We don't want a ceremony.
No ceremony?
This is absurd.
Cheers.
Let's try looking more in love.
Everything in this house is gay!
So yeah, the original film is based on a gay Taiwanese immigrant happily living in Manhattan who has, because he needs a visa to stay in the country, ends up having a sham wedding with a woman.
Ah.
Because we've moved on a lot from that kind of like societal sort of norm of the 90s, now that gay marriage is legal everywhere for now, the twist in this new movie is slightly different. So in this movie, Lily Gladstone, Kelly Marie Tran play a lesbian couple who are trying to get pregnant by IVF. So Hangi Chan plays Min, a quite wealthy student living again in, I think it's Seattle, decides that he's been asked by his family to go back home and take over the business, the family business. These are people who are extremely wealthy, extremely wealthy Asian family. He's being asked to go back home and help, but he's not out to his family. However, there is suspicion from his grandmother that he is gay. So to help out the Lily Gladstone and Kelly Marie Tran characters, start their pay for that. The third go at the IVF. He says he's happy. He would like to marry the character of Kelly Marie Tran, which is Angela, who's called Angela, and in return he gets to stay in America and with his boyfriend. But as luck would have it, his grandmother turns up and finds out what was happening, but she's quite accepting of it. All she says is, if you are going to marry Angela, you have to make it into something quite formal so that the grandfather, who is not very accepting of him, believes that it's happening. So, I just felt the whole thing was a little bit, it's really well acted, and there are some good gags in it, and there's some absolutely brilliant character actors here. And I feel like they've all been wasted on this. I don't who is asking for this to be remade. I don't understand why this was even remade. I think I could see. I probably would accept this to be made into like a more of a play, or like a comedy of errors. I just don't understand why we needed this to be remade into this kind of more sort of modern thing. I just leave it alone. In my opinion, I think Ang Lee made one of the best movies of the 1990s, best queer movies in 1990s, and did a fantastic job with it. The last thing we needed really was for something like this to be remade. It's not a bad movie. I just did not. I really struggled to keep to stay interested in the plot, because I felt like nothing about it really. I wasn't intrigued by what's going to happen next. So it's a pass for me, but it's not a terrible movie. I would probably say it's a 3 out of 5 movie, but I still don't understand why this was remade when there are other sort of scripts out there struggling to be made in Hollywood, and scripts around the whole sort of like Asian diaspora,
Yeah.
who would have loved to have another film like Crazy Rich Asians, or like films like that mix societal angst with comedy to really make some really good points. I don't understand what the point of this movie was, in my opinion. That's just me.
Fair enough. I mean, to my shame, I've never heard of
Oh, really?
Wedding Banquet. No.
Oh, what a lovely movie. That's a
Okay,
really
I'll check it
yeah.
out. I don't think I
Yeah.
heard of Ang Lee until The Ice Storm. That's probably
Yeah.
where I.
I love The Ice Storm. Great movie.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded from your description, it sounded a bit like an Asian version of Green Card with a gay.
Yeah, or like
line.
Casual Fall, or like the birdcage, or
Yes.
something
Oh,
similar.
Yes,
you know,
that's an
just
excellent.
you know, like no hate to anyone involved in this. I think they're all very capable, and you know, I have a soft spot for Kelly Marie Tran, and who's been done like, you know, who's had a really bad treatment on the hands of some Star Wars fans
Right,
a few
okay.
years ago. She's fantastic. Everyone's fantastic in it. They all put in some really good performances. However, I was not moved by it in the slightest, unfortunately.
That is fair enough, Linda. That's fair. So, is this Lily Gladstone's first film since Flowers of
No,
the?
yeah, she was in a really small movie last year or the year before for that premiered at Sundance, and it was called something to do with powwow. I can't remember. It was she played a sort of a native woman who's a really fantastic movie. If I could remember the plot of it, that'd be really good.
Oh,
But yeah,
Jazzy.
no,
Oh,
before that.
doesn't appear on her. I'm just having a little Google
Oh,
there.
okay,
It's not
hang
on
on.
her list.
Dance something. Dance. Hang on.
Ooh. Oh, Fancy Dance.
Fancy Dance, yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she was in this of a really typical Sundance movie called Fancy Dance, which didn't really do anything, but I thought she was fantastic in it, absolutely brilliant. She's good in everything, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I think first time I ever saw her was in Certain Women, the Kelly Reichardt movie, the sort of set in really remote area
Oh,
of
yes.
okay, really great movie with Kirsten Stewart, I think, Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I
Yes.
like I've had sort of like a soft spot for her for a very long time, and I think she's just oozes charisma and everything. Every role she's in, she's brilliant. I just felt like she was a bit, you know, not her, like the role she's given. It was just, you know, like at the end of the day, I wasn't sold on the premise, and I wasn't sold on the delivery of the movie. But other than that, you know, I'm sure some people will enjoy it.
Fantastic. Well, that's option number one for everyone heading to the cinema foyers this week. So, why don't we have a quick look at the box office top 10 as it stands as we record? So, currently in the UK, at number 10, it's Warfare, the Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza war film set in Iraq, starring Defero Woon Atai and Will Poulter. At 9, it's Hit the Third Case, Indian Telugu language action thriller.
Not seen it.
8, Retro, the Indian Tamil language romantic action film. More and more seeing Indian films in the
Oh
box
yeah,
office.
always. No, always. Indian movies, Indian sort of dialect movies are like really popular, and the only time we ever get to know about them is that when they enter the top 10, which is a bit sad because they're not usually showed to the press. I think maybe they have like their own sort of press corps where they're especially with sort of the South Asian community, and as a national press person, I'm never invited to those films, and I really should make an effort of seeking them out when they come out, because it's really important, because these movies are making tons of money really for cinemas.
It'd be interesting to know whether their increased profile in the top 10 is purely their popularity, and this comment isn't a slight on them, but also whether it's a slight exposing of the lack of sort of Hollywood product that would normally squeeze them out of the top 10, you know what I'm saying. But we shall see, time will tell. So at 7, it's Bluey at the cinema, I should say, and that's not one for the dads, that's one for the kids. At 6, it's The Penguin Lessons. That's Peter Cattanio's comedy drama starring Steve Coogan, which
It's doing well, is it? That came out a few weeks ago. It's doing well.
still there, and Linda's review is still available on our previous show, Cinema Paradisco, which you can still download. At 5, it's Until Dawn. That's David F. Sandberg's survival horror adaptation of a PlayStation game.
Never heard of it.
I'm too old for this stuff. Or I'm too old for this shit, as I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
At 4, it's The Accountant 2, Gavin O'Connor's sequel to his 2016 original, starring Ben Affleck. Which...
It's fun. It's fun. But
Did you like the original?
no.
Oh, did you not? Oh, I really like the original.
You
Yeah,
liked
I
it?
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know tons of people who love the original. I didn't hate this one.
Cool.
I did not hate it, but yeah, it's okay. It's fun. Nothing is preposterous really, but it's fun. I thought it was quite fun. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to see that at some point. Talking of preposterous, at 3, it's a Minecraft movie. Jared Hess's fantasy adventure comedy adaptation.
It's brilliant. I loved it.
Oh, good
I
time.
loved it. I thought it was fun, and I'm actually, people complain about people making like talking and screaming during it, but that's what cinema is. It's a spectacle, and if you don't want to sort of participate in it, go to a matinee or something, or even just like, I don't know. I just feel like let people have fun with films, and I don't begrudge people who are making a fuss in cinema. So what number did you say it was?
That's at number 3.
Still, that's killing it.
And if there's one film to make a noise and a mess in, it's that one.
Yeah, exactly.
2, a change of pace and tone. It's Sinners, Ryan Coogler's latest offering, the horror film starring Jordan.
Fantastic movie. What a wonderful movie. Brilliant, 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 brilliant.
Yeah, looking forward to that. The original trailers were very good in that it sort of portrayed it as one thing and didn't give away anything. Yeah. And then someone just blurted out the twist online and spoiled it.
Oh no, that is criminal. This is why I didn't even write the twist in my written review, because I went into it knowing absolutely nothing about it, like not even the premise. The way that shock of the thing that happens halfway through it was just brilliant for me, and someone to steal that from you is criminal, really.
And I'm sure, as you say, I'm sure it's so good that I'll enjoy it nonetheless. And our number 1 is Thunderbolts, Jake Schreier's addition to the MCU. That's its 36th film. An ensemble piece starring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Olga Kurylenko, Wendell Pierce, David Harbour, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
We have no reliable heroes, and yet we still need protection. Witness the invincible, stronger than all of the Avengers rolled into one, and soon to be known as Earth's mightiest hero.
Why would a god take orders from anyone at all? Maybe I need to show you what I'm capable of.
Sentry's gone off the rails, and he's dangerous. Avengers, you're gone. No one is coming to save the day.
We could be the people that are coming.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
Bucky, you have the wrong people. We have all done bad things.
You can live with it forever, or you can do something about it.
Being the hero, saving people in the streets. There is no higher calling.
You guys done with therapy?
Let's do this.
You may not see what I see, but this has the makings of a team that can race to glory.
There's no use fighting. You're not Earth's mightiest heroes.
No. We are the Thunderbolts!
Fabulous movie. Really good.
Really?
Return to form.
Oh, fantastic.
You've not seen it yet?
No, I've been umming and ahhing about seeing it.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Well,
it's the best one since Endgame.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big. Okay. Well, I'm going to the cinema on Saturday, so that might be my choice. Cool. Well, that's the top 10 for this week. So, would you like to give us another review, Linda?
So my next film is actually a sweet little drama set in Hollywood.
Thought I was going to age well. Actually, I didn't think I was going to age at all.
There's a Prius in the driveway. Sammy, are you expecting a delivery? Can I help you?
I have to get inside.
No, this isn't your gate.
Of course it is. I live here.
Who is this lady? Who are you?
Well, she thinks she lives here, which she obviously doesn't because, I'm pretty sure I live here.
Dozens of people are about to walk up to our front door right
You
now.
having a party?
Yes, and it's
Yes.
very important to my husband.
Oh, which shirt? Or maybe this turtleneck.
Office, funeral, person most likely to be murdered.
By his wife?
I need to use the ladies' room.
You brought the old woman from outside inside?
You can't treat her like she's some grave inconvenience.
And you can't treat her like your next great cause.
I want you to feel something.
I feel a lot of things. You just don't want to hear about any of them. Lucien De Leon is coming.
What happened to your utter contempt for him?
I think that's a bit strong.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was being kind. What happened to your all-consuming jealousy?
I'm over it.
It's been a long time.
I owe you an apology.
I don't need a big mea culpa from you.
He's famous for ripping apart relationships and leaves everyone in tatters. It must be so exhilarating having that kind of charm.
I'm sure you hear this all the time, but you and your mother look so much alike.
My mother's dead.
Does this mean we are not related?
You need to go to the party, Mom.
I do?
Don't you like parties?
I did. I don't know. Do you listen to a word I say?
If I'm being honest, I drift.
Are you for real?
What, do I have to have like a near-death experience to be nice?
Maybe.
Why have I just been left here all alone?
I'm here.
But you don't count.
You are a mother. Just giving, giving, giving all the time, right?
Really? She's still here?
Barbara didn't come yet.
We just go to the party.
And just like that, there she is. The switch she can flip in an instant.
Who are you? How did you get here?
Maybe she's a ghost.
She's a witch. Do you see me?
Yes, Helen, I see you.
The past and the future are both delusions.
Was this all a dream? How does it end?
And directed by the director Nadia Conners, who's married to the hugely popular Walton Goggins, who's having the year of his life after his success on the White Lotus season 3. But I've been a fan of Walton Goggins since Justified, with Timothy Oliphant, who they were both like absolute heroes of mine, and just I think it was the knowing. I mean, I am a huge fan of the Western genre. This was the closest thing you could get to the Western Justified. I'm not here to review Justified, but if you've not caught up on Justified, which is quite a few series of it, fabulous series. And Walton Goggins is absolutely brilliant in it. So yeah, this is so he's married to Nadia Conners, and Nadia Conners he's also starring. He also stars in the movie alongside Elizabeth Reza, Rufus Sewell, Pedro Pascal, Eva Dominici, Lois Smith, who is a great actress who's been in like a ton of Hollywood movies. She's quite an age in sort of, I think she's in her 80s now, probably even older than that. Yeah, fantastic. I actually really like this. I really liked it as it's a film. I interviewed the director very recently, and I had a fantastic chat with her about why she decided to set it in Hollywood. It's about this actress who's married to a high-flying producer, and she's no longer an actress. She's aging. She's worried about her look. She's worried about what she's going to do next. She's decided that she wants to completely change careers. And then she's having a party at her house. It's really grand old house in the Hollywood Hills. And this very confused old woman, played by Lois. How do I say this name? Lois.
Yes.
Lois. Lois.
Yeah.
Lois Smith, Helen, who also used to be an actress and who is now basically ill and dying. She's lost her husband, but she's also has some kind of dementia going on. She turns up at the house and she thinks she lives there. She thinks that's her house. They invite her in and they make sure that she's okay. They make sure that she's doing well, and she eventually so we get to know more about the dynamic between the Elizabeth Teresa character and her husband Sammy, and it's a movie about aging in Hollywood, about sort of the importance of looking after the elders and different. I was actually chatting to Nadia Conners about who she is, half Egyptian, and I was saying to her, in comparison with the way the elders or older people are treated in non-Western societies, is actually quite different from here. I mean, here or in America or in the West generally, when someone gets old and can no longer look after themselves, they are just shipped off to an old people's home. Whilst in the Middle East and pretty much everywhere else in the world, the elders are looked after by their families, and that is the whole point. And we just had a really good chat about the film. I thought it was really good, and I think Walton Goggins is just an absolutely fabulous actor, brilliant actor, and he's just getting. He's having his moment in the sun. Pedro Pascal is in this as Lucien, who is the former boyfriend of the wife, Rose. And again, he's great. And when is he not great? And I obviously asked her how she managed to get him, because he's like a hot commodity at the moment. And she says that they've been working on this since 2020 during the lockdowns, during the COVID. And when they chatted first about making this movie, it was literally, this may never get made, because she had made it into a play that eventually got turned into a film because theaters were not opened and they needed to all work, and he'd promised to be in the movie, and she completely expected him to sort of bow out, because his stardom, he became an absolutely massive star very quickly after that, but he was still insisting because he really loved the script. So yeah, I really like this. It's a small, understated movie with a big heart, with really some quite profound themes. And I don't know, not everyone is a fan of these kind of movies, but I am. I really like this. A character-led storyline, which I quite liked. Yeah.
Brilliant. No, it sounds fantastic. That's another one to add to the list. What intrigued me most about that was, as you were talking about Walton Goggins, who, as you say, has blown up huge over the last, I don't know, 5, probably longer, probably 10 years. Probably scanning through his filmography at the moment, it's got to be Hateful Eight, maybe, or Django Unchained, when he really became a big name. But then I look back through his filmography, and I don't know why I get such a perverse pleasure from this, but I look back through his filmography and I think, oh, I've seen that. I didn't know he was in it. Oh, I've seen that. I didn't know he was in it.
What was the one that?
Well, his very first film is Mr. Saturday Night, the Billy Crystal film.
Yeah, great movie.
As I've seen, it's not great, but it's interesting.
I really like it when actors or actresses make it big in their middle age. I have yet to see an actress do it, and I would love to see that. I do not begrudge sort of actors themselves, male actors for having the chance to do it, but I'd really like to see the same thing happen to a female actor. And I just feel like was with the Pedro Pascal as well. I mean, did tons and tons and tons of TV for years and years, and everybody, he was just like also ran kind of actor, and then suddenly absolutely everywhere, made it everywhere. And I'm just couldn't be happier for him because he is just one of the greatest. He's just so lovely, he's one of those people who you want to succeed. So yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's a series I've started watching called The Residents.
Yeah, I heard about
The
that.
White House. And the lead actress in that she's about my age, and I've not seen her in anything before, and she's really just done TV.
What's her name?
So she has starred in Orange is the New Black,
Yeah.
but I've not watched that. But
Not Piper Perabo. No, not her.
no, Uzo Adaba.
Oh yes, yeah. She's great. Yeah,
She's brilliant in this series I'm watching. So so hopefully she might be that one who breaks out and becomes a huge star. So that was Linda with your second choice for your possible selection as we stand in the foyer of your favourite local multiplex. Now I'm going to have a go at reviewing a film myself. So also out in cinemas currently is the classic on re-release celebrating its 50th anniversary, which is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Once in a lifetime, there comes a motion picture which changes the whole history of motion pictures. A picture so stunning in its effect, so vast in its impact, that it profoundly affects the lives of all who see it. One such film is...
Very good, thank you. Yes, thank you. Next, please.
Once in a lifetime, there comes a motion picture which changes the whole history of motion pictures.
Yes, thank you. Next.
Once in a lifetime!
Go away.
What?
Next.
What's wrong with my voice? My voice is all right, my brain is wrong.
有时候，有一部电影可以把整个电影的历史起了改变。
That's more like it.
库鲁萨瓦的《Seven Samurai》就是这样的一部电影，还有《Ivan the Terrible》，其余的都是平常的电影，像《Herbie Rides Again》、《La Notte》和《Monty Python and the Holy Grail》。Monty Python and the Holy Grail 有许多滑稽的。
If you do not open this door, we shall take this castle by force.
We're knights of the round table, we dance whenever we're able. We do routine to call the scene.
故事紧张。
One day, lad, all this will be yours.
What, the curtains?
还有一些不花许多钱的危险账面。
What makes you think she's a witch? Well, she turned me into a newt.
但是和 The Seven Seal 来比一下，这部电影就非常幼稚。所以，如果您是一个知识界记的小家伙，您也喜欢傻笑什么事，也不能更糟。 Monty Python and the Holy Grail， 看完了，来这里吃便饭。
Coming from, of course, the Monty Python team, who had their sketch show on the BBC between 69 and 74. At the end of that run, they then decided to start making films. They had already released one film into cinemas, but that was just a collection of refilmed sketches called And Now for Something Completely Different. So their first proper feature film was The Holy Grail, directed by Terry Jones and Terry Gillingham of the troupe. That troupe, of course, being Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Eric Idle,
Michael
Palin, Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones, thank you very much. Nearly stumbled over that one. So it's based on the Arthurian legends, where they've now for me it might be one of the very first meta films because it's set in the present day of 1975 and the Arthurian period, which in this context is 937 AD, I believe. Not entirely sure if that's accurate, but then who knows with the myths and legends around Arthur. We open with some crazy Swedish subtitles over the credits, and then eventually the mists clear and we hear the sound of coconuts, or is it horses approaching over the hillside? No, it's two men cracking together coconuts, and it's King Arthur and Patsy our leads for the next few minutes. It's one of the funniest films ever made, let's be honest. It's perhaps only superseded by another Monty Python film, their follow-up, The Life of Brian, which came out, I believe, in 1979. Yep, I've got that right. You could describe it as a sequence of sketches, but for me, they've managed to knit the narrative together so well that it does hold together as a film. It has a through plot. As I say, you've got this time shift of the modern day documentary about the Arthurian legend, and then the Arthurian legend plotline itself, which manages to crash into one another at certain points in the film with pretty hilarious consequences. So as I say, it stars the Python team, all playing multiple roles. Graham Chapman is our lead King Arthur. He also plays a hiccuping guard in the middle of a three-headed giant and the voice of God. John Cleese is Sir Lancelot the Brave and the Black Knight and a French taunter. Terry Gilliam is Patsy, Arthur's servant, and the bridge keeper. Eric Idle is Sir Robin, the not quite so brave as Sir Lancelot, Lancelot's Squire Concord, and the Collector of the Dead. Oh, and Roger the Shrubber, of course. Terry Jones is Sir Bedivere the Wise. Michael Palin is Sir Galahad the Pure. And then you have other cast members such as Connie Booth, who was a member of the TV series, playing all the female roles, and Carol Cleveland as Zoot and Dingo, the identical twin sisters, and Neil Innes, member of the Bonzo Dogs and the Russells, playing Robin's minstrel and providing some of the music on the soundtrack. So it's one of the few films, I have to say, that sees British comedy transfer from TV to film successfully. I admit it's not a sitcom, so it's not restricted in the way that On the Buses or something is. There are very few really successful British comedy films, and certainly even fewer that have transferred from television. I have to admit having a soft spot for the Dad's Army movie, because I do love Dad's Army.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched a single episode of Dad's Army. It always signified the end of the weekend for me. So it was like that kind of like the Sunday, like scaries.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always associated Dad's Army with that. But yeah,
that's fair enough. That's quite an achievement to not see an episode of Dad's Army.
But look, I have seen it's because it's in the zeitgeist, so it's out there. So I've seen all the clips that you can think of that became part of society, but I genuinely don't think I've ever watched a whole episode through.
Treat yourself, Linda. Come on, live it all. So Monty Python managed to achieve this. They transferred from their television program to cinema and created two of the biggest comedy films ever made, and became international stars off the back of it. Obviously, it's the tale of King Arthur searching for the Holy Grail, a quest given to him by God. He assembles his men, and then they proceed to be a shambolic outfit who stumble and stagger through medieval England, encountering ludicrous characters, all played by themselves. It's a very low budget film, but thanks to the genius of Terry Gilliam, it manages to look much more expensive than it is. Terry Jones does the sort of what would you say, the day-to-day workman-like part of the direction, and Terry Gilliam's doing all the production value. So it's covered in smoke, it's clever camera angles, it's using the same sets multiple times from different angles. It's so cleverly done, that as I say, it looks like a much higher budget film than it actually is. Chapman is brilliant, which is quite surprising, really, when you learn that he was a sort of a massive alcoholic at the time, and he was dealing with that. He was struggling to remember his lines, but again, through the direction, through the editing, it all comes together, and he's a wonderful lead character, and then would repeat that by playing the lead in Life of Brian 4 years later.
Yeah, I mean, look, but I really, as much as I like all of their movies, all the stuff that they've done, and all the TV stuff, nothing can touch Life of Brian for me.
No,
I just think it's a near perfect movie.
yes,
I generally like. I don't think I've ever. It's that kind of, there are a few movies that whenever they're on TV, you have to watch them,
yeah,
and Life of Brian is one of them for me. Goodfellas is one of them for me. All of the Scorsese stuff is one of them. But I also Brazil. I'm just like a really huge fan of Terry Gilliam. I just think he's an absolute genius.
oh,
And
of course. Yeah, absolutely.
comedy. Was this, how many times had you seen it before in cinema, or had you seen it before?
No, I've never seen it in the cinema. I think the first time I saw Holy Grail was when I was at middle school. So I'd have been about 10 or 11, going around a friend's house and him just saying, watch this, and just ending, an hour and a half later with my sides absolutely aching and my jaw sore just from laughing constantly for an hour and a half. It's it's one of those films that's just endlessly quotable. Every line becomes a quote for,
Yeah.
let's be honest, boring middle-aged blokes like me at parties, re-quoting it as if we are funny because we're saying it. But
Yeah.
it's full of stuff like, we are the knights who say knee, consult the book of armaments, it is but a scratch, all of these great lines. It's just so well done. As I say, and although it's silly, it's also played straight. So, they're doing it properly. There's no winking at the camera. There's none of that. There's not. What I really like about it, which ties in with this, is it's an intelligent comedy. It's written. They spent months writing it and rewriting it and rewriting it until it worked. There's no improvisation. It's not. And this is why I tie in with the winking at the camera thing. It's not a Will Ferrell film where they just shoot and shoot and shoot until eventually he says something mildly funny that they can then put in the film. This is a crafted comedy.
And the script, I think every single line was written. There was no sort of, ad-libbing or anything. Just so fantastic. Like you don't get comedy troupes like that anymore.
No.
Unfortunately, it's like proper craftsmanship, as you said. Yeah.
Well, the sketch show has pretty much died, it would seem. So, you're quite right. So, yeah, I mean, it starts with the Arthur and Patsy approaching a castle, and then the scene descending into a debate about swallows carrying a coconut across the ocean through migration, and the dialogue is so thick and heavy that it's just so beautifully written that, as I say, there's no spare dialogue here. There's no improvisation. It's not off the cuff. This is honed comedy. It's wonderful. I feel like, having rewatched it last night, that a lot of the sets and the setting and the tone have inspired other things. Like, I feel like Blackadder is clearly inspired. This sort of irreverent look at history, people playing multiple characters.
100%. All of Blackadder was really inspired by them. I mean, come on, it's really hard to sort of grow up on the Monty Pythons and not be inspired by them if you are sort of a budding, comedy writer. So it's there were sort of the first to be. I mean, I suppose for us, for even in America, actually, they were hugely popular in America.
Yeah.
And they did, like one of the sort of very few sort of comedy troupes that could make it big over there, because, and surprisingly, loads of like sort of middle class studenty types in America really got all the jokes, and I think that's actually quite impressive, really, when you think of it, because America and the UK are very different countries, but I think if you are appealing to that kind of like higher education kind of person, you are there is a meeting of sort of of appreciation. There's appreciation for each other's comedy, and I think that is even now. Even now, people are still quite. If you watch any of the evening shows like Colbert or Kimmel, they're all forever sort of quoting, especially Colbert. Colbert is a loves the UK and very inspired by it. But yeah, not to go on about it, it's the film. I've not seen it for a very long time, but like I'm sure if I watched it again, I'll remember all the sort of the one-liners. But I still think Life of Brian is the better movie, personally.
No, I have to agree, but that doesn't.
As a committed atheist, it's a film that spoke to me on several levels.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's they have their favorite topics, don't they? So all of both of those films, they're sort of satirizing religion, they're satirizing politics, sort of socio-economic structures, things. I mean, of course, you've got the scenes with Derek and his mother collecting mud. What's the line? I've written it down somewhere. Dennis, sorry, and his mother. I thought we were an autonomous collective. You're fooling yourself. We're living in a dictatorship, a self-perpetuating autocracy in which the working class. I told you we're an anarcho-syndicate. That sort of. You don't get that sort of dialogue anywhere else. And I feel like it also probably inspired the kids' TV series from the late 80s, early 90s, Maid Marian and Merry Men.
Yes.
Which is another one which ties in with Black
and Horrible Histories, and loads of that kind of stuff was
absolutely, yeah.
It's like mixing history with comedy, and like really you're learning something and you're saying something quite important underneath loads of around all of that humor. There are some really important messages in there, and like the whole Holy Grail, and it's I mean that particular the looking at the camera and talking about who I didn't vote for you. Yeah. I am your. I didn't vote for you. I really all of that stuff for me is like just so cleverly done.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you still get some of Gilliam's animation in the chapter breaks between the segments, and at the end where the budget constraints were again cleverly dealt with by them not having the money for a big monster, so they just draw the monster, and then a nice payoff joke on that as well. Yeah. I mean, it came out to mixed reviews. People thought it was basically the criticism was it was poorly paced, which I disagree with. I think those are erroneous, and it's obviously grown into a massive film over the decades.
I think I always say, I mean, which is quite funny for someone who is a critic by trade. I always say, don't listen to the critics. Almost don't listen to the critics, but like, many a fantastic movie that's gone on to make millions and millions and millions and be adored by millions of people has had some absolutely awful reviews. So, a review is a review. You can take it or leave it, It depends on the person who's given the review. If it's someone whose opinion you really respect, and if you are prepared to sort of have that back and forth with them, then yes. But if it's just your run-of-the-mill sort of jobbing critic who's whose job is just to sort of tell you whether to go and watch a movie, I think the majority of people really don't listen to critics anymore, really, in my opinion.
Well, hopefully they're listening to us. But then, of course, it's easy because I'm looking back at a classic film, whereas yourself, who reviews contemporary films, you have to say something about it, and you can.
We're also not pretentious either. So hate pretension. I'm all for. I really like mainstream films as well. I really like genre movies, and I am able, even if I don't enjoy a film, I'm able to understand why other people might like it. So I'm always really wary that if a film is really annoying to me, I'm very wary that this film is really going to work for others. Do you know what I mean? It's like I know okay, it's not my cup of tea, but I can just see this being tons of people's cup of tea, and for that reason, I'm always very wary about being sniffy towards those kind of narratives. Yeah. So.
Cool. So as we've said, it led on to Life of Brian, and then their last film, A Matter of Life and Death, which again went back to the sort of sketch format, and then in 2005, Holy Grail was turned into the musical Spamalot, which went on to be a massive success, and they then considered making a film of the musical, but that's now been cancelled and won't happen. So that's the Holy Grail. Anyway, I don't want to talk to you no more, you empty-headed animal food trough whapper. I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries. So if you want to see it, go to the cinema and see the Holy Grail now. It's well worth a visit, I would say.
I think I might go. This weekend. I have my other half is a massive fan, so yeah, he will be giving me all of those one-liners.
Right. So, did you want to do another review, or should we do some news?
Yeah. Let's do another. Oh, should we do news and then another review?
Yeah, let's do your review first, and then do some news.
So the next thing I'm reviewing is something I've been looking forward to for so long, and I have not been disappointed, I have to say. This is the sixth film in the Final Destination franchise, and it's coming to us 14 whole years after Final Destination 5. Which is, in my opinion, the best Final Destination movie.
So, which one of you is next?
You found some way to stop death and survive.
2 ways. Take a life, you get the time that person had left, or you have to die.
Death is coming for our family.
Hurry! Stephanie.
Grandma! Death is coming for us! Because we were never supposed to exist! All of this fits together. We might have a chance.
Final Destination Bloodlines.
Maybe Death's not actually coming for our family. Because that would be crazy.
Only in theater and special previews Thursday at 7 p.m. Get tickets now.
We all know Final Destination. We all know what the twists are, what the premise is. It's just basically you can't. I think the log line more or less should be you can't cheat death. What if death is after you? You just have to surrender to it, and no matter how much. And I think what's brilliant about it, it's that this is the kind of franchise that invented a million ways of killing people, if you know what I mean. And this latest installment really does not disappoint. So it's a storyline. I'm not going to give away too much, too many spoilers, because I'd rather not, because I'd like you to discover it for yourself, because it's actually quite good movie. This is directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam Stein, and written by Guy Busick. It doesn't have a hugely known cast, apart from one person, and I'm not even going to mention him because he's one of the legacy characters, and I would rather just leave that as a surprise for people who are fans of the franchise. I'd like not to give away which ones of the legacy actors or characters are who are in this. So the story revolves around a college student, Stephanie, who is who keeps experiencing recurring nightmares that foretells that her whole family is basically going to die, and she goes back, but she's sent off home after her. She's like a straight A student usually, but because of her predicament, and then the constant having having that recurring dream, even whenever she falls asleep, she can't do any of her work. She's been demoted. She's been sent off home to look after herself. But what she wants to do, she goes home to look for her estranged grandmother, who basically has been cheating death for decades, and who's because she's become sort of obsessed with staying alive and keeping everyone around her alive, she's put herself in this she lives in this house surrounded by wilderness, and literally never leaves her house, and every single step she takes is calculated, and if she ever moves out of that house, I mean, there is a little bit of a plot hole there, because we we don't quite understand why that house specifically, why she can't. I mean, she's surrounded by sort of, it's fortified and blah blah blah. She doesn't let anyone else come into it, to the house, but at the same time, there is the premise is that she isn't, as soon as she steps out of that house, death will get her and she'll die, and because if she dies, the next person in her family will die as well. So there you go. Here's what I liked about this movie. While this sort of earlier Final Destination movies were like a straightforward horror films with the usual horror tropes, so took itself a little bit too seriously. What I love about this movie is that it has its tongue firmly in cheek throughout the movie. I mean, the kills get more and more ludicrous as we go. And I absolutely love it. I think that's what everyone loves about those movies. It's very gory, it's very bloody, but it's also extremely funny. And I obviously won't give the ending away, but like it's quite a satisfying ending. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought, I've been looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of the franchise, as I say. I think the fifth one is probably one of the best ones, and I'm kind of excited to see a whole new generation of horror fans discovering this. But I don't, because we've not had one since 2011, and most of the people are going to be watching it now were kids when the last one was released. So I think it would be quite interesting. I think it's going to do really well in cinemas, and it's already like selling really well, the early box office. There are some advanced previews this weekend. One screening per cinema over the weekend. I think on the 9th or 10th, I can't remember. But and then the film is out again on the 14th. So and I think it's going to do really, really well. Really loved it. I thought it was fun. It was gory, well acted, all the usual stuff, all the sort of inventiveness of sort of trying. It's almost like there's oh God, what the dominoes, like domino effect way of sort of showing how someone is going to die. Anyway, it's really well done, and it's brilliantly acted, and I had a lot of fun and I laughed a lot. So that's the most important. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the original in the cinema back in 2000, and did really enjoy it. It was trying to be a Hitchcock film.
A bit too serious.
Yeah. And the cast couldn't really carry it off, but it's a lot of fun, as you say. And but I honestly can't remember if I've seen any of the following films. I might have seen them.
Oh, you must have done. I've seen all of them. I know I have seen all of them. So, I actually have not seen the last one since I saw it in cinema when it came out.
Right.
I think a bit what could be like interesting if they released all of them,
Mm.
so people
Right,
can.
I was just thinking I can feel a Final Destination marathon coming on,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
why not? No, that's brilliant. I'll definitely be going to see that. So yeah, that's wonderful. So that's your final selection for your possible choices at the box office this week as we stand here in the foyer of the cinema. So why don't we give you a bit of news and then we'll head into a screening room and get out of your hair.
Yeah.
So what have we got? Denzel Washington is starring as a music mogul under fire in Spike Lee's new film Highest to Lowest.
There's more to life than just making money. It's integrity. There's what you stand for. It's what you actually believe in. Hey, bang! Do you believe in yourself? Revenge! Do you believe you'll be successful? Get the bang! And the hard times will come from the good times. The hard times will come from success. The hard times will come from the money, and the mayhem follows. So can you handle the mayhem? Can you handle the money? Can you handle the success? Can you handle the failure? Can you handle the lovers? Can you handle the memes? Can you handle everything that there is in between? That's the question I have for you.
Gotta get ready!
Can you handle it?
For the big payback.
All money ain't good money.
Director Chad Stahelski has promised John Wick Chapter 5 will be really different with a new story. About time, really, as the franchise has never really done it for me. And the last 4 films were all the same. But sticking round Reeves, he's also set to star reuniting with Sandra Bullock in a new Amazon MGM romantic thriller. So that sounds to me like a sort of non-sequel, sort of adjacent Lake House type thing. Al Pacino and Dan.
Speed.
Sorry.
Speed.
Oh yes, yes, but yeah, I don't think it'll be like that, to be honest.
Okay.
As long as it's not like Speed 2, it's fine.
Yeah.
Al Pacino and Dan Stevens are starring in The Ritual, the tale of the exorcists and exorcisms that inspired the horror classic, dare I say, greatest horror film ever made, The Exorcist? I think I do.
We are the Lord's army in this battle. Emma is not well. I need a team of 3. Father Steiger will be taking notes and assist with restraints. The devil will do whatever it takes to foil our plans. We must be resolute and hold back the darkness.
Emma?
Satan and his demons, depart this woman! Be the light, Emma!
Speaking of things satanic, The Conjuring returns to yet another cinema screening to rinse the horror fans of their wallets. Aardman have announced they will return in 2026 with another Shaun the Sheep movie, The Beast of Mossy Bottom. Wes Anderson has said his new film, The Phoenician Scheme, is from the same well. Sorry?
The Phoenician Scheme.
Oh, okay. Apparently it's from the same well as the Royal Tenenbaums, which is no great surprise to me, really, because, you know, I don't want to be controversial here, but all of his films are the same. You know, different stories, but in exactly the same universe.
He's an author, so
oh,
you
no,
know.
God, yes. And to be honest, he's been far more hit than miss for me the last decade.
Absolutely. And I don't begrudge him making the same movie over and over again. You know, people always jokingly say, "Oh, he's made it his movie again," and I just think, you know, his movie is a very good one. If he wants to make it 10 times over, then let him. You know.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't like his films at all at the start, but I've really been won round by him.
At this moment, rescue workers are laboring to recover and identify the remains of Jaja Korda. international businessman, maverick in the fields of armaments and aviation, among the richest men in Europe. This was Korda's 6th recorded airplane crash. He is survived by 10 children, 9 boys, 1 nun, his daughter Liesl.
I've appointed you sole heir to my estate, which you may come into sooner rather than later.
Why? It's been 6 years since our last meeting.
I have my reasons.
Which are what?
My reasons? I'm not saying. I'm saying I'm not saying. Korda Land and Sea Phoenician Infrastructure Scheme, my most important project of my lifetime.
Our objective: disrupting, obstructing, impeding, crippling Korda's enterprise in any manner possible.
Get the hand grenades. Today, tonight, and tomorrow, we rendezvous with every Titan and pretend we agree what we already agreed. But in fact, we don't. We can't. Call it.
Heads.
Heads.
Is this supposed to be here? It was under the lunch trolley.
Oh dear, who shot you?
Tara's from out of town. Help yourself to a hand grenade.
You're very kind.
Could you imagine falling in love with a man like me, by the way, hypothetically?
You're drunk on 3 beers.
Why are you shooting my ceiling?
This is a robbery on behalf of...
I understand that. I'm asking about my ceiling. You idiots are destroying a magnificent nightclub.
One thing you'll never know because you can't. The truth. I suppose I'm moved by this absurd performance.
I recognize this assassin.
Oh no. Suicide panel.
Where's my father? Take this miserable sin into the company.
A Coen brother returns as the cinematic siblings continue to work apart, something which has seen a huge decline in the quality of their films, in my opinion. But hope springs eternal, and new film from Ethan Coen is Honey Don't, starring Margaret Qualley and Chris Evans.
Action! Submission! There is no higher service!
The address you wanted? Thanks, MG. Honey, right? Love those click-clacking heels.
Honey O'Donoghue, to what do we owe the honor?
Can you tell me about this woman, Mia Novotny?
She got stabbed and stuffed in a car, I guess.
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy.
Only when we submit to the will of God do we serve him. Hector, not in the sacristy.
You call me up and ask me would I like to go with you and see a movie.
The French, they're not happy.
Who's not happy?
First I say no, I got some plans for tonight.
Honey O'Donoghue, I ain't seen you in a minute.
Mia Novotny, are you aware of any trouble she was in?
Will she owe you money?
She was afraid of something the cops couldn't help her with. I said I'd help.
Cops said it was an accident.
That was from her church in town. She never wore that in the house. You'll neither.
Why is a private investigator looking into a traffic fatality?
What can you tell me about?
Do you drink?
Heavily, it's a point of pride.
Should you and I discuss this over a drink?
Tuesdays I dry out.
Today's Wednesday.
Today is Tuesday.
Spooky.
Action! Duty! Submission! There is no higher service!
I help people, Miss O'Donoghue. I see a need and I fill it.
You see a need and you exploit it.
This is God's punishment.
And His will be done.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
You're fascinating.
And you haven't even seen the riddle tattooed on my ass.
Love is kind of crazy with a spooky little boy like you.
Yeah, that's the end of the news for this week's first episode of Meet Me in the Foyer.
Yeah,
So,
I hope we weren't too terrible or too boring. So
no,
yeah.
I'm sure we informed and entertained. So thank you for joining me here in the foyer, Linda. We'll make our choices, head in to see something, and hopefully we'll meet again next week.
Yeah, next week. I mean, we have Cannes coming, so we'll be getting all the sort of news on what's doing well and what's not doing well, and what we can expect. So from now on, we'll start to see the big movies of the year, sort of all the award stuff from Cannes onwards.
Yes. And as you mentioned at the start of the show, the summer blockbusters starting to creep in. But we'll bring you all the news on that. That won't be a mission impossible. So, drop us your thoughts. Let us know what you thought of the show. Let us know what films you've seen. Share your comments. Follow us on the socials. You'll find us everywhere on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. My Instagram is Last Night's Movie 2020. We're on Bluesky, Facebook. I'll put all of this in the comments of the show.
I'm Linda Marric everywhere. So Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. I still have an account on Twitter, but I don't use it. But you feel free to go follow me on there, and I'm hoping that maybe Elon sells it. If he does, then I will go back. But yeah, I don't really use it anymore. I just think it's not what it used to be. But hey,
no, absolutely not. So that's it from us. Thank you, Linda. You've been wonderful, of course. If you've loved the show, follow us, like us, review us, and meet us in the foyer again next week. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Meet me in the foyer.